Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita class. Um, we are discussing verses from third chapter, and in this connection, we'll discuss a very special verse today. And in that connection, we will take a look at in a little bit of detail as to what purification of the heart means. The topic for which is the topic for today that we have, and we'll see in the context why it is important, why it is becoming important, why it was important for Arjuna, and why it is important for us as we try to practice, try to become devotees, as we try to practice devotional service in our day-to-day life. And we'll of course discuss with reference to one lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in Bombay on Srimad Bhagavatam class, where he touched upon this particular aspect of one of the most important aspect of spiritual life. And unless this happens, the subsequent success in spiritual life is impossible. So, to that extent, this is a prerequisite, as they call it. Prerequisite means which is must-have thing, must-do thing for every devotee or every aspiring devotee. So let's pay attention today and try to learn, try to pick up some of those things that are spoken by Lord Krishna and explained to us in a very simple, easy to understand, easy to follow way by Srila Prabhupada. We are discussing chapter 3 verses and the philosophy and religion, and that was the topic for our discussion in the previous Sunday. And the chapter starts by, it's not started by Arjuna saying something or Krishna saying something, but in fact it's on the back of various verses spoken by Lord in the chapter 2 and concluded in the 72nd verse. uh, Arjuna is still thinking in the background. Arjuna is as he's listening attentively to the verses as Lord was speaking, he's also analyzing them and coming up with his own conclusions. And when he found that his conclusions doesn't seems to be in consistency with the overall setup, they were on the battlefield. They were about, the war was about to start. And Krishna has spoken, 37, 38 verse, he has already given him instruction that you should fight. And Arjuna was refusing to fight. And on this, in this background, subsequent to 2.38 till 2.72, Krishna spoke of various verses where he is glorifying a person who is equipoised, who has complete control over his mind and senses, who is not bewildered when calamity comes upon him. When he gets praise, he doesn't become very happy, doesn't get elated. And when he is disturbed, when he go through threefold miseries of a material world, he's still able to smile. He's still able to maintain his mental equilibrium, peace of mind. He is the cool dude, as they call it. And Arjuna is astonished to hear the description of this person who seems to be at a very high level, and Arjuna is considering himself to be at a low level, and therefore he expect that Arjuna, Krishna wants him to travel from here to here, become him, like him, if at least. And hence he inquires with Krishna that tell me more about this person so that I can identify that person, and I can learn from that person to become like him. And then the subsequent verses follows, and end of that, end of all that is discussion, Arjuna is started wondering, will such person ever fight? he's he's not sukha dukhe samay krutva labha labho jaya jaya. He's not calculative. But if I have to fight this war, I have to become calculative. I have to understand, I have to strategize, I have to put certain goals. I have to, and those should be attainable. Smart goals, I have to define smart goals. I have to act on those goals. I have to strategize. It's not that a cakewalk this war is going to be. And so all that will require lot of efforts which don't seems to be going in consistency with the nature of this person that Krishna has described. This person seems to be completely at a transcendental level. And what Krishna wants me to do is day job, as they call it. डे जॉब हमारे ऑफिस में होता है. कुछ लोग मीटिंग रूम में बैठ के स्ट्रैटेजी डिस्कस करते हैं एंड डिसाइड करते हैं, एंड देन देयर आर अदर्स बल्क ऑफ पीपल हु आर डूइंग डे जॉब. They don't get to even enter the meeting room, but they've just been told कि this is the strategy for the year, please do it, and these are the targets for the year, and you have to work your work as hard as possible and achieve all of those targets, and next year you will get newer targets. So Arjuna is kind of wondering that if this person is at that level, will he really indulge in this ghora karma, this sinful act, this will he dirty his hands doing war? Will such person actually fight a war? And wondering this, he asked, these two couple of questions that Jayasi Chetakarmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tatkim Karmani Ghore Mam Niyojayasi Keshava. ये घोर कर्म में आप मुझे क्यों इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हो? Why you want me to be engaged in this ghastly warfare, घोर कर्म, ghastly warfare? If you think intelligence is better than creative work, व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तद एकम वद निश्चित्य येने श्रेय हमाप्नुयाम. That shreya, what is my shreya? What is ultimately good for me? Please tell me that, because of your instructions in the previous chapter, in the previous last few instructions, my intelligence is bewildered. My intelligence is bewildered. It's very confusing, Krishna. If you want me to become like that Sthita Prajna Muni, then let me give up war. And that is the conclusion that Arjuna has already drawn from these instructions. And he is confirming or reconfirming his understanding with Krishna. Now, this is again very important. We many times a student we see that why Bhagavad Gita is can be studied more often, because a lot of us we get wrong understanding in the first place. I met a person and he said, oh, 2.47, the most beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita is 2.47. And when we discussed a little bit more, I explained him that the understanding that that person was carrying of this verse was not complete, not completely wrong, but it was incomplete. So a lot of us have this kind of a understanding of Bhagavad Gita, and that therefore it's always important to double check, to confirm our understanding whether that is in consistency with the overall message to be given by Krishna. And therefore Bhagavad Gita classes becomes interesting because they rectify our understanding, and they give us correct understanding. They replace our wrong understanding with the right understanding. And when we get right understanding, we can go deeper in our understanding. And therefore, Bhagavad Gita study is a lifetime study. There will never be a time when you will find Bhagavad Gita boring if you study it in the right spirit and in the right way, and if you hear from right kind of devotees. So that's how. So that's about double checking on what we already know about scriptural study, and that's important because we don't want to work with wrong conceptions. Our concept should be clear, and Prabhupada has explained them with ample clarity, and we should endeavor to, and a lot of senior devotees have spoken, given a lot of explanations for these works, these beautiful verses, given modern day examples for these beautiful verses. So what Prabhupada would have written was pertaining to say 1971. He when he finally wrote a detailed commentary on Bhagavad Gita. But now lot of his disciples, lot of other senior devotees have given wonderful explanations to Bhagavad Gita using modern day concepts, modern day examples. The principle remain the same. The examples may change in according to the time, place, circumstances, so that the audience should be able to relate with it and then make correct sense out of it. So it's important to double check what we already know or we think we know with those who are guiding us, and therefore thereby get correct understanding, and with that correct conception do correct practice of Krishna consciousness. That is very important. That's what we learn from Arjuna, who is trying to reconfirm his understanding with Krishna. Overall, Arjuna, this is what Arjuna's dilemma is. That if I'm attached to the sense enjoyment, I will fight. Then I can win kingdom and I can enjoy. If I'm detached from sense enjoyment, I should not fight. And so probably this is what Krishna has been advising me all throughout, and that the senses should be controlled, should be regulated, and so how dangerous senses can be. So let me, I think the instruction is basically to control the senses and control my desires, desire to win kingdom, desire to rule the earth, desire to win the war, desires to make become very opulent famous kings. All those desires are material desires, so let me give up all of those and let me renounce and not fight this war. Whereas Krishna is thinking that Arjuna, while Arjuna was speaking these two verses, Krishna is also thinking, and Krishna is smiling. Krishna is thinking, you're trying to oversimplify my instructions, saying that you can renounce and thereby demonstrate that you are not attached to the sense gratification. But in life, things are not always that easy. And I will now make things complicated for you a little bit so that we can take this discussion deeper. ये superficial discussion, Arjuna wants to be educated and Krishna wants to part knowledge, and they are both ready to invest themselves completely into this process. So both will not give up unless and both will not give in. So both are ready to bend their backs and do whatever that is necessary to get this correct to get the correct understanding in the heart of Arjuna, to transform Arjuna's heart. Krishna is ready to do whatever it takes, and to ensure that he continues to serve Krishna. Arjuna is ready to do whatever it takes to come to that correct level of understanding, and therefore this discussion need to go deeper into this philosophical topic. Krishna is saying, Bhagavan uvacha lokesmin dvevidha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service." This is where we are. This is where we are. Arjuna is thinking, if I'm attached to the sense gratification, I will perform actions. And if I'm detached from the sense gratification, I will renounce everything. I will not fight this war. So this is how, in a simplistic way, Arjuna is thinking that I need to be detached and therefore I should simply renounce. Now, Krishna, on the other hand, is saying, wait a second, Arjuna, you can be attached, you can act in attachment, and you can be renounced also in attachment. You can, attachment does not have just one option. Attachment also has two options. With your mind attached to the sense enjoyment, you may act. And with your mind attached to the sense enjoyment, you may try to renounce. Can somebody think of examples of this? We are attached to we are attached to our body, we are attached to our senses and the sense objects, and we act. Can any examples anybody can think of?
Prabhuji, staying in comfort zone.
S- Staying in comfort zone. Okay. Okay, that's one. Kanchan Mataji, you have raised hand. Others, feel free to raise hand.
We always want to look good.
Look good. Physically look beauty. Physical beauty you are referring to.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, you always want to look good. So you're attached to looking good, and then attached to your senses, and then one of the sense is your sense of sight, and you want to look good. Therefore, you will act. You will act. You will you'll decorate yourself. You'll go to parlors. You will wear neat and nice clothes. You will use fragrance, and all of that you will do. So this is a clear example of we are attached to something, and then with that attachment we are acting. Shashank Roji.
Can we say expectations to really attachment
Expectation.
expectations
Can you elaborate?
means expecting people means expecting from people means, and then after expecting we get disappointed because it's not fulfilled actually.
Mhm. So yes, we have certain expectations from life. For example, take for example a student. A student, what does student want? Student is attached to studies. How many students are actually attached to studies? Student generally want to study because he will get good grades, and using those good grades he will get into a nice good college, reputed college, and hopefully at the end of that college he will get selected in campus, or he will get a degree using which either he will go for further studies or go for some job that job will pay him well, and using that money he will be able to maintain his family. He will be able to satisfy all his desires. So he's attached. He's attached. He can be attached, and using that as a fuel, he's acting. Anjani Mataji, yes.
But we can be attached to certain dietary pleasures and then renounce them while being attached to them. Like,
Sorry, Mataji, I'm not able to hear.
I've unmuted my mic. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can be attached to certain dietary pleasures and then renounce them while you are still attached to them because you want to renounce them, like non-vegetarian food, alcohol, etc.
Yes, that's also there. That we act, we can be attached, but we can still renounce some of those things. So renunciation is also kind of an action. So that's also yeah, that's also fine. Yes. Mahesh, I'll ask another question. While we could be attached to enjoyments, we can also renounce. Can somebody think of? So basically, this is very straightforward. We are all attached to we all have our own attachments. We are all attached to eating good food, wearing nice clothes, having a nice house to live, drive a nice car, and so on and so forth. So we can think of all the samsar that we have created for our own self, all the comfort zones that we have created for our own self. We are attached to all of that, and because of this attachment, we are acting. We are acting to get these things, and later to maintain these things, not let this go away. So all of us practically fall in this line, the attach, and we are acting. We are acting to get what we want and to maintain what we want. And in that, there could always be higher and lower choices. So we are all attached to eating. We are all love to eat, but We may give up non-vegetarian food when we get higher principles. Because of certain principles, we may act in such a way that we eat, but we eat prasad, we eat vegetarian food offered to Krishna only. So that way we are purifying our actions, but essentially we are attached to our actions, and we are attached and we are acting. So all of us, whatever we are doing practically whole day in day out, can come under this straight category. This is something different. This is what Arjuna had not thought of. You can be attached, but you can renounce. Example of this, Maheshwar Prabhuji. Can you think of something like this?
Uh, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, attachment is for the own requirement. But we should have remember that we have got social requirement, religious requirement. As a religious part, what we are supposed to do, we should not forget it. Along with own requirement, we have to fulfill other requirements. So our mind should be what religious, what righteous thing I have to do. I should remember it and I do it. That is, I think, renouncement. In this way, I can detach my personal side, I can do religious side. When I think of a personal, yes, I do personal. But at the same time, I should not remember that I have to do social obligation, religious obligation, all I have to do it. By this way, you can renounce. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
So thank you, Prabhuji. But Prabhuji, that will still be an action. We are doing just like, we are attached to eating. All of us at one level we need food to survive. That's true. But on another level, we need good food to eat. We need tasty food to eat. We need sometimes spicy food to eat, sometimes sweet to eat, sometimes relishable food to eat, and we prepare nice preparations for that. And so there so we are attached to eating, but we refuse to eat certain kind of meat food. That just shows our choices, but essentially we are still in the same zone. We want to know ki we are attached, but how can we superficially show renouncement? So Kanchan,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think that it can be attained if you have a if you are fond of eating good food, we should think of while cooking or while offering to Krishna, we should think that he also will like it, and we should distribute it among others as a prasadam, and we'll have a little quantity of it. So I think that way we can move towards the renunciation, and whatever activities in the world we are doing out of attachment, the attachment main purpose should be that Krishna will be happy with this effort of mine.
so we'll take your example a little bit ahead. Okay. Yes, we are attached to eating. Okay. In home, generally, when there is lunch time or dinner time, certain tasks are assigned to people. Okay. If somebody is given a task to collect all the plates, bowls, spoons, bring food from whatever kitchen to the dining table, and all of that. So that task can be given to somebody. Now that person is attached to eating, but not doesn't want to do those tasks. What will that person say? I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry, so I will not do my work. And what will happen then? Somebody else will do that task. Somebody else will bring out the plates. Somebody else will bring the spoons and the bowls and the food, everything. They will serve. And halfway through the meal, this person will come and say, "Oh, suddenly I'm feeling very hungry." And then he will come and join the lunch table, and he'll eat. So this is a case where you're attached, but superficially you're trying to show that you're renounced, while your mind still dwell on the topic, on the sense object. This is what Krishna is specifically bringing out. So what is basically, and this is where the whole of the rest of the discussion will focus upon. Um, So we can take couple of comments from maybe Anurag. You want to say something in this regard, or we can move forward? We'll have more opportunities for discussion.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just thought maybe doing some charity work for some medical patient. We are actually doing it, but the result of that work, we should not be attached to the end result because it depends on the fate and the luck of that patient or person.
Correct.
I guess.
So that aspect, Prabhuji, is covered in the subsequent image where you see the person is detached. And in that detachment, sometimes he's seen acting and sometimes he's seen renouncing. Renouncing means not acting, giving up, it's inaction. So this is where a person with detachment will act. A person is not attached to the end result. He does not want to be glorified by helping that person medically, but he is acting. He is not saying that I don't need praise for helping somebody, so therefore I will not help only. You get me? Are you all with me? So
Yeah.
yeah, so with detachment also you will act. Why? Because it is right thing to do. Okay, so you will act, but you're not attached to the praise or the honor, respect that you will get, appreciation that you will get out of that action. To the result, you're detached, but you're still acting. But somebody may think that, okay, I'm detached from the result. I don't want result, so I will not act only. I can, but I will not help that person. So this is something dangerous. When you're not able to do your duty, that is something dangerous. So Krishna, currently we are talking about this aspect, that one's mind is attached to the sense enjoyment, to the sense object, but artificially one is superficially trying to show that one is renounced, and given example of a family drama that may happen in our own homes. I don't know, but this is where a person may say that, oh, I'm not hungry suddenly, just before the just before the lunch time or the dinner time, and then somebody else may do his or her work, and then halfway through the meal he will come back and say, oh, I'm very hungry, and I'll just join the, because the whole work is done. So I'm attached to the eating, but I don't want, but because of my laziness, because of my whatever, I don't want to do things which I'm supposed to do. I don't want to act in the right way. Therefore, I'm superficially saying that I'm renounced. I don't want to eat. And but the moment we get opportunity, we eat. So this is where Krishna is putting his finger upon, and this is where the subsequent couple of verses speak about. Sanjay Prabhuji, Abhishek Prabhuji, we can catch up later, or you want have any comments? I see your hands raised. Do you have any specific comments in this regard, or we can move forward?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just a short comment. I mean, what I wanted to say is being attached and yet being renounced is, I mean, I think devotional service essentially exemplifies that. You're attached, you're working, but you're offering the fruits of your labor to the Lord from your earnings. Similarly, whatever you're eating, you're first offering to the Lord. It's not that you stopped eating, but you're offering to the Lord and then having it. So that's the way I understand it. Thank you, Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji. The devotional service will come in the detached action. Action with detachment. So you're maintaining a family, but you're not attached to the family. You're you're doing all the things which are which can be seen as being done prima facie by a devotee as well as a non-devotee. Suppose if you have two families living next to each other, and one is devotee family, one is non-devotee family. A devotee family will also have husband, wife, children. Non-devotee will also have husband, wife, children. Devotee's family will also send their children, will maintain their family. Husband will do some work, get some income, try to maintain his family nicely. A non-devotee will also try to do that. So the what is the difference? Difference is in the consciousness. So both are seen acting in the world, but one is attached, acting out of attachment. One is acting out of detachment. So that's the difference, and so that we will speak a little later as we progress in the discussion of Bhagavad Gita. But currently, this is where Mithyachari will come into play. That superficially, somebody is trying to renounce, make a facade of renunciation, However, his mind not being completely pure is still focusing on the sense object. And so this is where we will focus in the today's session. The two verses Krishna spoke in the fourth and the sixth verse is what we will pick up. न च कर्मणा मना अनारंभा नैष्कर्म्य पुरुषोष्णुते न च संन्यास सनादेव सिद्धिम समाधिम गच्छति. And sixth verse, we are skipping the fifth verse, which we'll pick up later. Sixth verse says that karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyacharah sa uchyate. So, Vimudhatma and Mithyachar. In the two strong words, Krishna is criticizing this person. This person who's Karmendriyani Sanyamya Aste Manasasmaran. That kind of person. So, let's go to the translation of the fourth verse. Fourth verse says that not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction. So, what was one of the concern of Arjuna is that my actions will lead to reactions. My karma will produce a karma phala, and in order to enjoy or suffer that karma phala, that will cause karma bandhan, and bandhan is painful. Bandhan means I will be bound in the cycle of repeated birth and repeated death, which is not advised by Krishna. So, which means I will not be able to go to the spiritual world. Esha Brahmi Sthiti, that and at the kingdom of God I'll not be able to achieve. So I should not act. Now this is a very simplistic interpretation done by Arjuna, and to that Krishna is countering it. That if you think you can stop doing work by artificially not acting. You think you will attain freedom from reaction. That is not going to be the case. And this way you will not get any perfection. So in the fifth verse, he actually says that you cannot give up work, you cannot give up action. Even if you may try, you cannot stop acting. You have to act. At least for the maintenance of the body, you have to act. You are forced to act. So there's no question of you giving up action completely. So, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So, renunciation alone is not critical. So, what is important? We'll see what Krishna is saying further. In the sixth verse, Krishna is saying that one who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on the sense object. one who one who is externally restraining the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on the sense objects. Now, one is think of a person who is trying to not act, saying that verbally he is saying that I am not hungry, but his mind is still dwelling on the sense object. He's still smelling the fragrance of the food that has been cooked, and what he's attached to the food. He's attached to the food, but he doesn't want to do things which he should be doing. So he's not so he's, because of his lazy nature, because of his trying to avoid the work, or because he's he's too easygoing. Whatever could be the reason, he wants food without putting the necessary effort to get the food. He wants food without any effort. And for that, what is he doing? Externally, he's saying, oh, I'm not hungry. Then everybody else make the necessary arrangement for people to get to sit together and eat lunch or dinner. And then halfway through, he says, oh, I'm very hungry. I'll now come and eat. Why? Because everything is arranged. The food is out there, plates are there, bowls are there, spoons are there. People have already halfway eaten. So now they can't blame and he just has to do is probably pick up a plate, pick up a bowl and spoon, and take the food and start relishing it with everyone. So the person was always attached to the eating. Even when he was externally saying that he's not hungry, he just wanted somebody else to do that work for him, and therefore he was waiting for that to happen, and the moment that was done, he came and ate. So his mind, he was an opportunist. His mind was always dwelling on the same subjects. In this case, it was food. And now such a person, he deludes, certainly deludes himself, and he's called a pretender. When he's using mithyachara is a pretender. He's pretending that he's not hungry, but actually he is hungry. He wants to eat. He's pretending that he's not going to eat, but he's going to eat the first available opportunity. He's going to eat. Now, why this is important, we'll come to know. Let's go to the purport. Srila Prabhupada says that in the purport to verse 3.4, Prabhupada explains, the renounced order of life can be accepted when one has been purified by the discharge of prescribed form of duties, which are laid down just to purify the heart of materialistic man. A renounced order of life can be accepted only when one is purified by the discharge of prescribed duties, not otherwise. You cannot jump to this renounced order of life of brahmacharya or sannyasa. You cannot accept saffron just like that. It's not that cheap. It requires purification. One has to go through the complete purification process, and that process is by performing your prescribed duty in other ashrams. If you are in Grihastha ashram, by going through the ups and downs of the Grihastha ashram, eventually you will develop sufficient purification. After certain purification, you will be able to come to that level where you will be able to accept order of sannyas, order of renounced order of life, that is sannyasa. So it's not for materialistic men. We spoke about one beautiful story that comes in scriptures, that a man goes to a sannyasi, says that I want sannyas, I want to accept sannyas because I'm completely detached. And that person inquired, the sannyasi inquired, senior sannyasi inquired, why you think so, that you are completely detached? So he says that my wife left her body a few days back. I didn't shed even one tear. Didn't even cried. I didn't even felt sorry. I was not suffering. There was no suffering. I didn't cry. I didn't feel bad. I just moved on. And that sannyasi actually says that, well, you think you have become qualified to accept sannyasa, but actually it's the opposite. You should go get married again. He said, why? I have demonstrated so much detachment, so much. So he said, no, that's not the case. You lived with a woman, and when she left her body, you couldn't even cry. You didn't even feel bad about it. So, what kind of a hard-hearted person are you? So, when you become sannyasi, you will be expected to cry for Krishna who is not visible. Here, you could not cry for your own wife. How can I expect you to cry for Krishna who is not visible? And therefore you should go through the process or purificatory process of grahastha ashram once again. Go get married and develop some heart, develop some emotion, and that's how you will be able to take these same emotions, and then using same emotions you will be able to love Krishna. Just by giving up your prescribed duties, you will never be able to develop attachment for Krishna. So this loving attachment to Krishna can be developed only if we know how to do that in the material world. So without purification, Prabhupada writes, one cannot attain success. by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life, that is sannyasa. According to the empirical philosophers, simply by adopting sannyasa or retiring from fruitive activities, one at once becomes as good as Narayana. But Lord Krishna does not approve this principle. Without purification of heart, sannyasa is a simply disturbance to the social order. So I'll just read this again. Without purification of heart, sannyasa is simply a disturbance to the social order. We all see in the news, in the newspaper, on the TV channels, uh, every now and then some news article appears where there's a pardafash, dhungi baba, some baba is found with some woman, and so forth. And some such incidents, when they happen, they get publicity at times out of proportion. Why? Because in general, people want to show how this process fails. Somehow atheistic people they enjoy, they have their own enjoyment seeing somebody else fall down. Not It could be possible that person would have probably started only like this, or it could have been possible that that person would have got slipped while he was trying to purify his heart sincerely, but in the process he would have got tripped from his own path. Whatever could be the process, but whatever could be the reason behind it, but all such news article get a lot of publicity. And so that's the unfortunate part that people fall down. So without purification of heart, sannyasa is simply a disturbance to the social order. It's disturbance to the person who's fallen down. He accepted sannyasa, and then he performs actions which are not supposed to be done by him, and so it's disastrous for himself personally. It is disastrous for society as well as a whole, because that is how you will get labeled. You'll just generalize that, okay, one sadhu was found doing this, and secretly, which means all sadhus are like this. One can quickly make a very general comment, classifying everyone as this, and that can be, so that's why it's a disturbance to the social order. And the 3.6 Prabhupada said that there are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness but make a show of meditation while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff philosophy, philo- sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order. But if one follows the rules and regulation of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speak of philosophy. This is the very speciality of Srila Prabhupada, where he call spade a spade. What is wrong or wrong, and not necessarily one has to defend what is undefendable. If something wrong has happened, he's straightforwardly calling it wrong, and he's saying that it should not have been done in the first place. So for sense enjoyment, one can act in the capacity. He says it's better to act in whatever capacity that you can, as a part of the social order, in the part of varnashram, whichever you are a grahastha, act like a grahastha. You're a student, act like a student, act and behave like a student. So within grahastha ashram, whatever role is given to you, whatever is your family status, whatever is your economic status, whatever is your health status, you act according to that. and that way you will gradually purify your consciousness. Now, this is a gradual process of purification. But if one wants to skip this and make a show of being a yogi, while without having sufficiently purified his consciousness, if one tries to showcase himself as a yogi, as a sannyasi, or as a great spiritually advanced person, the object of sense, but because they have not gone through the purificatory process, in their mind, they are always searching for object of sense gratification. Now, such people are greatest cheaters, even though they sometimes may speak of some philosophy. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. So, what do you mean by this external dress? What do you mean by a sannyasi? Sannyasi has a dress, a yogi, sannyasi, or a spiritualist will have, will have externally saffron dress. Many of them will actually wear saffron dress. They will have some mala around their neck. They will wear something in saffron. They will either have a shaven head or matted jata, like we can see in this person. A sannyasi danda, japa beads. Some people wear their beads around the neck only, and then from neck only they remove and start doing japa. After japa, they wear it around the neck. So, and then they have kamandalu sometimes. So in the various yogis, sannyasis, sadhus wear different kind of attire, depending on the sampradaya which they belong to. But they will all have some japa beads. Hopefully, they will be chanting. They'll have some instrument to play, kartal to play some music, or sing on some musical tune, and they will also practically have no possession. At least seemingly, they will not have any possession for the self. So this is how a spiritualist or a spiritually advanced person or a yogi, sadhu, sannyasi is expected to be externally. But this is not all. They are also supposed to have internal consciousness. So Prabhupada in this particular verse has spoken about both. There's an external action and there is an internal consciousness. How this person is supposed to be through his internal consciousness, how he's supposed to act. He's supposed to act selflessly, serving God 24 by 7. Should not be interested in investing, creating wealth creation. Should have no connection with women. This is where a lot of scandal happens. People may not, even if you're lazy, you don't serve everyone. People will not mind all of this, all the other three. But the moment this happens, just get blown out of proportion. No desire to have large followers for self, for praise. True sannyasi, they are the symptoms of how internal consciousness will be of a real sadhu. A real sadhu will be engaged in serving, lovingly serving God 24 by 7. At every available opportunity, he wants to serve God using all his mind, body, senses. Everything, whatever he possesses. So this a devotee holds nothing back, and nothing holds a devotee back. A devotee holds nothing back, and nothing can hold a devotee back. So they are wholeheartedly, lovingly serving God 24 by 7, no holidays. They are not interested in anything else other than this. And definitely they don't have any, should not have any connection with women. They know no desire for even, they expect nothing. They expect nothing. But Prabhupada said that they can, you accept whatever God has given, but expect nothing. In the mentality, in their mind, you don't expect anything. And that is the correct position of a sadhu. What benefits you get when you become a sadhu? You don't have to work or earn. You can beg. Yeah, you'll use this command lu, and this cloth to beg. Go and beg in front of people. Whatever they give, if they give, you eat. If they don't give, you don't eat. You're completely dependent on God. You're completely dependent on Krishna. So you're not interested in working for maintaining the self because you are dependent on Krishna. You have ability to travel and spread and preach the message of God. You are expected to travel. A sannyasi needs to wander, travel constantly, not stay at one place, not create nice facility and live there forever. You're supposed to travel and preach to the people who have forgotten about God, people who have forgotten about their relationship with God, their connection with God. People have forgotten who they are, whatever they have, how it is because of the mercy that they have received from God. If they have forgotten all of that, then the sadhu or devotees or sannyasis are supposed to come and remind you of that. So they need to constantly travel, move from place to place and preach to the people. People will respect you in general. In India, we still have a culture where sannyasis or sadhu, even if you don't belong to that sampradaya, the moment a sadhu comes to in front of you, you will pay obeisances. We still have that culture, thankfully, and still retained. So you get a lot of respect out of people. And a message by a sannyasi gets more respected. So Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the Grihastha ashram, and he says, all those, all these people, I want to preach to them, but they won't listen to me because I'm a Grihastha. So let me, and they, because they don't respect me, they don't accept my instructions, they don't follow my instructions, they may end up committing some offense towards me. And that will defeat the purpose, that will make their path going back to Krishna more difficult, and that will defeat my purpose. I'm supposed to make their path easy. So what should I do? I will become sannyasi. I'll accept sannyasa order, and then I will. Then when I will speak with them, I will. They will, because I'm a sannyasi, they will give more respect to me. So message by a sannyasi naturally is respected more. A few scenarios. Are they right cases for renunciation? First case, I have recently got my engineering degree. During vacation, I attended a few classes of Bhagavad Gita. I found it very interesting. I'm considering becoming a sannyasi. Do you think it's a right decision? Case one, we have to say, you can say yes, no in the chat box if you want to. If you want to speak, feel free to raise hand and we can discuss also. As you, uh, yeah, I'm going to the chat, I'm opening chat box also. There are no's. It's not a. Anybody can raise hand and say reasons why it's not a right decision. Purnima Mataji, Samsung SMA356E also says no. I would like to know the name. Please, please rename yourself. Yes, Kanchan Mataji, why it's not proper?
Hare Krishna Babuji. As per my understanding, it is not a right decision because it is out of excitement or out of attraction which he has got recently, but he may not have been purified in a way. Like I personally can say I am at that stage, so I cannot expect to be renounced right away because even though I'm attracted towards Bhagavad Gita and attend sessions more often, but I don't think that I'm personally purified that way to become to come to that level.
Yes, that's a very nice point. Gayatri Mandaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as Mataji mentioned, like it could be of attraction, which could be that it might be for some temporary time. And one more thing is that sometimes, like even I used to think to escape from responsibility, like to escape from studies, maybe that could be also a reason, like to get into that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
thank you, Mandaji. That's a right perspective. that it could be infatuation, it could be genuine attraction, but could be a very short term infatuation. And attending one or two classes, it's naturally possible to for somebody to feel excited, but then they should continue and deepen their understanding of the scriptures. And if you stay in the movement, in the stay in the under the guidance of devotee, if you practice devotion sufficiently, at some stage with the advice of your mentor, you can become brahmachari, you can accept saffron. Not that there are many young brahmacharis, but they go through a process. They don't decide this in a knee-jerk reaction. So it's not biji knowledge. Yes, I think a lot of nice explanations have come in the chat box also. Okay. The second case, my business made huge losses. At my current advanced age, I cannot get any job. Am I a suitable candidate to become a sannyasi? Yeah, I can go to the lot of no's. You can see. Okay. Okay. Fine. The third is recently I had a big fight with my children. They're all grown ups and have their own families. So they kind of don't need me. Can I consider becoming a sannyasi? Is this right? Now I'm old enough. I can I need not do anything else. So I can, if you whatever is required to be done by a sannyasi, I can do that. I have no other business. So so that is also not a right consciousness to approach this kind of a. So anybody who becomes sadhu with this kind of a mentality, they're bound to fall down. Or without purification, if somebody tries to become a sadhu, somebody tries to become a spiritual leader, a spiritual guide, a spiritual um, a sannyasi, a spiritualist, some kind of a spiritualist, they every likelihood of them of falling down exists. So answer is no for last option also. In the Prabhat, right? In the verse 3.6, Krishna uses two very strong words to describe a false sadhu, a vimudha or a foolish atma or a soul, and mithya or a false. Mithyatari is one who make a show of meditation while his mind dwelling on the sense enjoyment. Person who accept prestige and respect without discharging sacrifice and responsibility for such a position. So if because of the inherent advantages that one get the moment you wear a saffron dress, people will actually come and pay obeisances to you. They will come to you with your problems. They will मुझे हाथ देखो मुझे बोलो कब जॉब लगेगी, कब शादी होगी, कब बच्चा होगा, क्या होगा, मैं कितने दिन जीऊंगा, कब मरूंगा, आम, कुछ बीमारी तो नहीं होगी ना, बीमारी है खत्म कब होगी, हाथ मत देखो, आंख देखो, ऊपर देखो, मेरे कपाल में देखो, एंड whatever, मेरी जन्म कुंडली देखो, एंड पीपल कम विद 100 requests. The moment they see somebody in wearing a saffron, somebody wearing or somebody posing himself to be a spiritual leader, and अगर उसमें कुछ किसी ने चमत्कार दिखा दिया, कुछ ऐश निकाल दी, then कुछ फल निकाल के दिखा दिया, and then the people become mad. And then they start following him left, right, center, and the news spread, and the queues starts, the huge queues, and then the starts in front of those leaders, and eventually those news comes that such and such spiritual guru was considered dhongi because of this he did, and he was somebody did a video shoot of him, or a sting operation or whatever, and all of that leads to a question, it puts a question mark that is everybody like this, or why do these people do like this. So this is where the Prabhupada explains the reason that you get a lot of prestige and respect, a lot of benefits of being a sadhu without discharging sacrifice and acting responsibly for that position. So by refusing to perform sacrifices, every position requires certain level of sacrifice, and that if one is not interested in doing that, but they want all the advantages, it's like you want all the benefits, but you will not do your duty. You are only rights and duties. I will only exercise my rights, but I will not do my duty. This is the position of that a person. And king collect taxes without solving citizens' problem. Prabhupada, I'll give another small example. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We are talking about internal and external. Internal and external. And there are two things. One is that of a dress, and then that of a consciousness. What is internal is the consciousness, change in the consciousness. What is external? External is the dress, what people can see. My consciousness you cannot see, um, but my dress you can see. If I'm the moment I wear saffron, I will start getting respect in the society. So there is a change of external dress that has happened. Change of external dress that has happened. The number one case is first case is where there is a change of external dress that has taken place, and change in internal consciousness also has happened. So the internal consciousness is also changed, wherein I want to serve Lord and his devotees 24/7. I'm not interested in any position. I'm not interested in any sense gratification. And this is how my internal consciousness has also evolved, has also been purified. And as a result, I'm changing the external dress. Second case is where there is a change of external dress and there is a serious, sincere effort to change internal consciousness. Second case is where the external dress has changed. It happens both ways. You can. It's like the moment police wear their dress, they are expected to act and behave in certain way. They can't do things which are not suitable to be seen of being seen done by a police officer. So the moment they put on their uniform, they conduct themselves in a particular way. They are forced to. Their consciousness only changes that I can't be doing this. I don't want to be seen doing this by the external people. Why? Because I'm wearing a certain kind of dress. So this external change. So you don't have to wait for your internal consciousness to change 100% to accept external dress. You can accept external dress of saffron dress, you can accept even when you're not 100% there as far as purification is concerned, purification of your mind is concerned, but you're putting in serious, sincere effort to change internal consciousness. This is still acceptable position. Number two is still in a very acceptable position that we will never be 100%. It's not like 0, 1. You'll always be in between. There will always be struggle. Becoming a sannyasi, maintaining our brahmacharya is also not easy. So the number two is also a very sincere, serious effort put in by a person. Third is external change of external dress and no sincere, on the internal side, no sincere effort to change internal consciousness. This is a person irresponsible indication of an irresponsible person who is out of laziness, just want to accept all the benefits without performing any duty. Without doing my duty, I only want to exercise my right. As a sannyasi, I should get respect from people. People should come and give me dakshina. People should come and pay me obeisances. And even if there is no, even if I don't do any sadhana, as a sannyasi, I'm supposed to have some kind of sadhana, some level of sadhana. Even if I don't do my sadhana sincerely, sometimes I chant, sometimes I don't chant, and I have no serious knowledge of scriptures. I speak out of my mind. Sometimes I speak, sometimes I refuse to speak. So there's no sincere effort, no serious effort to change internal consciousness. However, I'm accepting all the benefits that are attached to my external dress. So this is a dangerous position. And the worst position is this, which is a mithyachara. The change of external dress has happened, but secretly I'm planning how I can get sense enjoyment. I'm secretly planning a way and means of attaining sense enjoyment. So this is a sure shot disaster to happen, just waiting to happen. And this also can lead to this eventually. Because unless I try to change my consciousness, because changing consciousness requires a lot of effort. And we'll see in the Prabhupada lecture what that effort is all about. But if this does not happen, if this is like a sure shot failure, if somebody is practicing sannyas ashram or becoming a spiritual leader thinking of this, Prabhupada call out for such a person to be a greatest cheater in the society. They cheat themselves, they cheat the whole society. And then because of such people, the whole community of sadhus get labeled as dhungi sadhus. No, people, media simply take one example and extrapolate it to the whole community. That sometimes they do, and thereby, they create disturbance in the social order. There's a disturbance in their own spiritual life that is given, but in the whole social order also they create disturbance because of their irresponsible action. Here, you're changing the external dress and you're continuing old sinful ways of behaving in the disguise of that external dress. You're hiding your sinful activities, you're doing those secretly in the disguise of your external dress. So this is most sinful. This is most worst kind of a spiritualist that we can have. Prabhupada will talk about the rest of the session. We will discuss some paragraphs from the purport of Srila Prabhupada, from a speech of Srila Prabhupada. He spoke on the in Srimad Bhagavatam, but wherein he referred to this one verse called Bhuktaram Yajna Tapasa Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Surudam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Rachati. 5 Bhagavad Gita 5, 5th chapter, 29th verse, last verse, wherein the translation goes like Prabhupada writes, a person in full consciousness of me. Krishna is saying that me, my Bhuktar Aham Yajna Tapasa. I am the Bhokta of Yajna and Tapa. Uh, I, I am the ultimate beneficiary of all the sacrifices and austerities. Yajna and Tapa. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. I am the master of all the all the three lokas and demigods. Surudam, Sarva Bhutanam. I am the ever benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities and well-wishing friend of all living entities. And if you know this, if you know me to be this, Gyantva Mam Shantim Rachati, then you will attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Peace of mind is Shanti. That's what Prabhupada will focus. Shanti. So I'll read and then we will have some question answer based on this paragraph at the end. So please listen very attentively, and we will have a lot of some question answers based on this paragraph what Prabhupada has written. So Prabhupada gave this lecture in Mumbai. While speaking on the 3.26.43, there's a typo. So the verse number is 43 of Srimad Bhagavatam class, 3rd canto, 26th chapter, 43rd verse. So while giving, Prabhupada spoke about this, gave reference to this verse from Bhagavad Gita and said, Shanti. If we learn these three things, then we will get Shanti. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Gyatva Mam, me. Krishna says, the person, me. Just like, give me. So Krishna says, Gyatva Mam. What is that? So we have to know Krishna, that he is actually enjoyer. Then Prabhupada gives example of master and servant. Master and servant. If the servant knows that in this house my master is the proprietor, he is the enjoyer, I am simply servant, then he is peaceful. I'll read this again. Master and servant. If the servant knows that in his house, my master is the proprietor, he is the enjoyer, I am simply servant, then he is peaceful. On the contrary, what is the contrary? Contrary, but if he artificially tries to become the master, although he is servant there, then there is all disturbance. I'll read this again. But if he artificially tries to become the master, although he is servant there, then there is all disturbance. Let's take example of a cashier who work in bank, cashier who works in malls, railway counters, reservation booking office, and so many places. Say bank, for example, if a cashier is working in bank, is dealing with huge amount of cash. Is he dealing? What should be his mood? What should be his mood while dealing with the cash? If his mood should that be of a servant. His mood should be that of a servant. What will happen if he tries to think as if he's the proprietor, as if he's the enjoyer of that cash, as if he's the owner, proprietor, enjoyer of that cash? What will happen? He will try to steal, he will try to take some of that cash back home for enjoyment. Will you try to use that cash for enjoyment? And that will create all disturbance. But as long as he's working in the thinking that I'm servant, all of this belongs to my master. All of this is his, not mine. I am only facilitator. I'm only supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. If that means taking care of this cash, I will do it very diligently. But I will not take this cash home, thinking I should enjoy this cash as well. I get what I am supposed to get at the end of the month. I get some share of this same cash in form of salary at the end of the month. But that doesn't mean I should start taking this cash home, some portion of this cash home for my enjoyment. Whatever I'm supposed to enjoy, my master think I should enjoy, that he will give me end of the month anyway. So he will take care of my enjoyments. I don't have to bother. I have to simply do my service nicely to his satisfaction. If this is how a cashier works, he will be peaceful. If he tries to work in any other way, he will be disturbed. Why my master has so much cash? Why I have so little? He may think like that, and he will be disturbed. He will be disturbed thinking, वैसे भी कौन देखने वाला है, थोड़ा सा मैं लेके जाता हूँ कैश, वैसे भी इतना पड़ा है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, किसको पता चलेगा, कैमरा भी स्विच ऑफ कर दूंगा, and I will take some cash home. Now that will create disturbance. The moment such thought also comes to his mind, it will create disturbance. इसमें चल बिचल शुरू हो जाएगा, and eventually he may act on that, and then he will get caught, he will get punished, and so it will all lead to disturbance. So शुरू कहाँ से होता है? He giving up his servant mentality से सब शुरू होता है. The moment he forgets his being servant, all the problems starts. Prabhupada writes further. So here is our miserable condition, our cause. So here, our miserable conditions are caused by our thinking that I am the proprietor, I am the owner, I am the enjoyer, which means also implies that I'm forgetting my servant position. I'm forgetting my position of being a servant, and now I'm thinking I'm a proprietor, owner, and enjoyer. And now so the moment this forgetfulness come upon us, the moment we start thinking I'm the proprietor, I'm the owner, I'm the enjoyer, the mind goes in fifth gear to find out ways and means in which you will own and you will enjoy, and it will come up with hundreds of proposal, thousands of proposal of those enjoyment, potential enjoyment. It will it will give you it will paint a beautiful picture of you enjoying using these resources which don't belong to you, and this fantasy world will take you completely away from the reality, and that is how your disturbance will begin, just by getting this thought of becoming a proprietor, becoming the owner, becoming the enjoyer. Just by forgetting, the moment we forget I'm a servant, my problem begins, my problem starts. Prabhupada says one becomes one becomes to owner, proprietor, because he wants to enjoy. So this is our disease. Actually, we are servants of Krishna. Jivera Swarupahaya Nitya Krishna Dasa. Chaitan Chatamrut Madhya Lila 20 108 109. This is our original position. We are servant even in this condition, but we are servants of Maya. Illusion means we are servant of our lusty desires. Kama, Krodha, anger, Lobha, greediness, Moha, illusion, so many, mother, madness. We are servants of these propensities. We are not master. When you become master of this sense gratification process, then you are Swami. That is the position of Swami. Swami means master. Goswami. Goswami means this controller of the senses. Go means senses. So Swami or Goswami means one who has control over the senses, or one who has control over the mind. Prabhupada again, Prabhupada is speaking with reference to the to what happens from the moment you forget you are a servant, you start thinking you are a enjoyer, you are a proprietor, and you are a owner. And from that on the moment onwards, the lusty desires get fired up inside your mind, and that will come up with lot of emotions, lot of anarthas, kama, krodha, anger, lobha, greediness, moha, illusion, mother, madness, and so on. So Prabhupada says this is, you are not a master. Even if you are thinking you are a master, you are a servant, but now you are a servant of Maya. And Prabhupada says you should become servant of Krishna. So your position of being a servant is perpetual, is eternal. So question is, whom do you want to serve? Want to serve Krishna or you want to serve Maya? Who will engage you in this, in all of this? Servants of Maya, servants of lusty desires, and this is what all you will get. And Prabhupada writes that Goswami means, Swami means, Go means senses, Swami means the master. Anybody who is become master of their mind, master of their senses is Goswami. Prabhupada says further that the mind is very restless. The whole yogic process is meant for controlling the mind, because unless you control the mind will produce volumes and volumes of desires, hundreds, thousands, millions, and you have to satisfy all of them. Then where is Shanti? Prabhupada writes a kind of a rhetoric way, that where is peace? When you have volumes of desires to fulfill, not in hundreds, thousands, millions of desires, and your only job then remain is to, you're their servant. You are become the servant of your desires, so you will not, they will not let you go off the hook so easily. So you will be forced to act to fulfill all these desires, and they will never get satisfied. They will never get over. By adding fuel to the fire, no matter how much fuel we keep adding, the fire does not get satisfied. Similarly, these desires never get satisfied. So this is our position. Then where is Shanti? Prabhupada is writing, how can there be peace? Where is the question of having a peace of mind, having a peaceful mind? There's no question. You just cannot have peace of mind. So why Prabhupada says further that you have to satisfy the master. Who has become your master? Mind. Then you are disturbed. There cannot be any peace, and mind has got so many millions of desires. Therefore, when you can control over the mind, that mind desires something and you have to control. No, you cannot do it. Then you become a Swami. Swami. So these sannyasis, they are given the title Swami or Goswami because the sannyasis are supposed to control over the mind, over the senses. Therefore, they are called Swamis. Otherwise, they are not Swamis but servant. So, is your mind your servant or your Swami? That's the whole question. First of all, we need to understand that we are soul, we are separate from our mind. Our mind, we are not our mind. A lot of time there is a confusion. Whatever comes from inside, we think it is spoken by mind, and we interchange mind and and soul together. We use them interchangeably, and sometimes we feel we can't distinguish whether the inner voice is voice of soul or voice of mind, and we think it's all one and the same at times, but that's a mistake. Soul has a mind. Soul is not mind, and therefore when the proposition comes from mind, you should be able to say no. And that can happen only when you have discriminatory power and you know that you have a mind. Otherwise, from whatever comes from within, you will keep thinking that this is what soul is desiring. But when you know with conviction that you have a mind, then whatever is coming from the mind, you can at times say no to it. No, Prabhupada's right here. But mind desires something and you have to control. You have to say no, you cannot do it. Then you become Swami. Not by accepting whatever proposals come from the mind, you will become Swami. Then you are a servant. So if you are controlled by the mind, then you are a servant. If you are controller of the mind, then you are a Swami. The same person can be a servant, can be a Swami. Prabhupada is saying you should become Swami. So, how can you become Swami? Because we are falsely thinking, I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer, I am the leader, I am the friend of my family, my society, my nation. So many ways you have to convert these things. Surudam Sarva Bhutanam Gyat. That is Bhagavad Gita 5.29. Krishna says that I am the friend of everyone, but we are taking the place of Krishna. Leadership. I am declaring to my countrymen, to my followers, that I am your friend. So actually, I cannot be friend because I do not know what is the goal of life. I cannot lead them properly. Some immediate convenience we can offer, and people being less intelligent, they are after immediate profit. It is called prayer. Just like if you say to have a small child, don't go to school, please come and play with me. He would like to play with his friend. That is immediate profit. But if you ask him to go to the school, that is remote profit. That is called Shreya. And prayer. Prayer means immediate profit. Two young men, if one friend says to the other friend, oh, let's go to the cinema, that is very palatable. And if he says, let us go to this meeting in Hare Krishna land, that is not very palatable. This is the distinction between Shreya and prayer. Nishreya Saya means ultimate goal of life, ultimate profit of life. So ultimate profit of life is to go back back to home, back to Godhead, because we are suffering on account of separation from God. This is our cause of suffering. Instead of becoming servant of God, we have become servants of senses. That is the cause of our suffering. Therefore, three things. If we can understand thoroughly that Krishna or God is the proprietor and enjoyer of the whole universe or creation, and Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasa Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is the proprietor of all universal planets and Surudam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the real friend of everyone. Gyatva, one who knows. Krishna says, Mam, me, then he gets Shanti. Otherwise, there cannot be any Shanti. Krishna Bhakta, one who is fully Krishna conscious, he is Shanta. He is fully confident. Krishna consciousness or God consciousness, he is fully confident that Krishna, I have surrendered to Krishna. I have taken shelter of Krishna. And he has promised, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaishyami ma shucha. 18.66. Then where is the cause of my anxiety? Where is the cause of my anxiety? Why should I be anxious at all when I've taken shelter of all powerful Krishna? Then what is the cause of my anxiety? Therefore, he can become, he has understood Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Supreme Personality, Almighty, All Powerful, full of all opulence. So, if he has taken my charge, then where is my anxiety? That is Shanti. That is Shanti. And so, and so long, so long we are taking shelter of Maya. Now, Prabhupada is contrasting this. He's saying if you take shelter of Krishna, you will attain Shanti. Because why? Because Krishna is understood. We have to understand that He is all almighty. He's all powerful. He's full of all opulences. So, and so if Krishna is in charge of my life, where is my anxiety? Because he is a surud. Whatever he will do, it will be good for me. So with by all means, there is nothing to worry, and hence there is no anxiety to a Krishna Bhakta, Krishna devotee. Whereas if you're not a devotee of Lord Krishna, then and so long we are taking shelter of Maya, Asat, which will not stay. Asat means temporary, which will not stay forever. Suppose we are taking shelter, child is taking shelter of the father, mother, or the citizen is taking shelter of the state, of the government. And so one has to take shelter of something else for protection, for security, but they are not actual security. Prabhat, right that one is forced to, everyone takes shelter of someone. But as long as that shelter is material, it is not actually any security. It does not really actually offer any security. So therefore, we are always full of anxiety. You may be a citizen of great state like United States of America, but you are not without any anxiety, because that state, that shelter is not sufficient. That will not stay. Just like recently in America, they had to dethrone Mr. Nixon because they were not free from anxiety. So you cannot become free from anxiety by taking shelter of anything material. That is not possible. Asat and Sat. Sat means eternal and Asat means temporary. So we are eternal. No, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Bhagavad Gita 2.20. We are not annihilated after the annihilation of the destruction of this body. Therefore, we have to take shelter of the eternal. Then we will be happy. And so long we take shelter of any temporary thing, um, asat, this material world, material society, friendship, love, state, community, nation, anything you take, They are not permanent, so you cannot be happy. But if you take shelter for security at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, then you are actually secure. So, slightly longish paragraph, but hopefully, all of you had a good read, good hearing, and we can discuss some questions based on this. Which three things we should know convincingly for to become peaceful? Prabhupada referred to this verse, and so the three things that Prabhupada referred, that's part of the verse only. You can raise hand if you remember. Yes, Kanchan Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I remember that you said that we have to act like a servant. We don't. We have to know that Krishna is a real enjoyer, and we are only the servant to his service, so that we can become peaceful and perform our duties.
Yeah. So Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasa Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He's the proprietor, owner of all the three planets, all the entire creation is owned and controlled by him. And Suruda Sarvabhutanam. He is the ever well-wishing friend of all the living entities. If we remember these three things, then we become peaceful. Thank you. Our miserable condition is caused by thinking of what? Yes.
Of we thinking that we are the enjoyers and everything belongs to us.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. What is the original position of Jiva or the living entities?
Krishnera Nityadas.
Krishna Nityadas. Okay. These sannyasis, they are given the title of Swami or Goswami because the sannyasis are supposed to control over the
Senses.
two fill in the blanks are there.
Mind over the
Yes, Gayatri.
Prabhuji, I think it is a mind over like forgot the exact term, but mind controlling the mind over what we are
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay. Mind is one, and the second is yes, Anjani Mataji?
Senses.
Senses, correct. Mind and senses. What is prayer and what is Shreya? You can raise hand now. Yes, Gayatri.
Uh, Prabhuji, prayer is that immediately what we get, like the benefit, and Shreya is we will get later.
Long term. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, two examples given by Srila Prabhupada for explaining prayer and Shreya in this context. You can raise hands if you know, remember. Says Sanjay Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one example given is a friend asking the person to watch a movie and the other one saying, let's go attend the Hare Krishna class.
Yeah, that's one. One more example.
I'm forgetting the other example, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anybody else? Quickly.
Planting a tree, Prabhuji, it will give long-term fruit.
No, Prabhupada didn't spoke about planting a tree, but he spoke about something else. One more example he gave before this. Before two friends example going for movie, there was another example given. Same point. Okay, a child, small child, if you tell
Children
child
playing, yeah,
that
children playing
do you go to
before.
school, come play, he will immediately agree. But that will not be that will not be good for him in the long term. So child bunking school and playing, and the two friends instead of going to movie coming to Hare Krishna land for program. So these are the two examples Prabhupada gave. Last question. So you cannot become free from anxiety by taking shelter of anything. Yes, Subhash.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Dandot Pranam. First of all, prayers and prayers, like in my book also, I have written based on this, and I am developing prayerspreneurs, means entrepreneurs who are doing good for the society, and that is sustainable and that is selfless. So that is in alignment with your blessings to what we are learning, and this is also devoted to Srila Prabhupada ji, you and all, because I am learning in that direction and I am getting encouraged for doing that much more.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thanks for sharing.
Deeply grateful to you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sita Mataji, Rohan, Bhairavi.
Yes, Hare
Last
Krishna
question.
Prabhuji. Material Prabhuji, anything material.
Material. Correct. So Sat and Asat. So Asat is material, and material or anything we are eternal, and hence we need to be, we will be properly sheltered only we take shelter of something eternal, another eternal thing. We cannot take shelter of anything that is material or Asat, that is temporary. So these are some of the questions. Thank you everyone for attentively hearing and participating in the question answer session as well. We'll summarize quickly and then we'll go to proper question answer or any other question answer that you might have. So beginning we said Arjuna is still confused whether to fight or to renounce. Hence he asked questions, and we learned that we should also ask questions. We should seek clarifications. So whatever our understanding could be right, could be wrong, but it is always helpful to double check. Krishna says this is oversimplification. So let me complicate this. We can take this discussion deeper. There can be action and renunciation in both attachment and detachment. In attachment also, I can act, and sometimes I can pretend that I'm renouncing, but I'm still want to act. And taking the same thread of discussion forward, Krishna speak the verse 3.5, where he says Vimudhatma and Mithyachar. He call out for these two pretenders who are making a show of devotion. They're saying that I'm sannyasi, but actually their mind is dwelling on the sense object. They're searching for opportunities to enjoy senses sensually, and they want all benefits of being a sannyasi without performing any responsibilities that are expected from a sannyasi. So they are biggest cheaters. Sannyasa with purification of heart, without purification heart, can be disastrous for person who is doing it as well as for the society. And Srila Prabhupada, we went through his this lecture to where he explained that how we can purify our heart, how we need to be convinced of our position. The moment we forget we are servant, we try to act like a master. And we took example of a cashier. If we start, if he forgets he's a cashier, he's a servant, he may start taking that cash home and start using it for his own pleasure. And that can create disasters in his own life as well as in the life of that um, as well as in that particular organization. So that way we need constant remembrance of this reality, the fact that we are servants of Krishna. We should be dependent only on Krishna because we are eternal. Krishna is eternal. Therefore, we can take shelter from Krishna. Anything, if we take shelter of anything material, that will also create anxiety. That will continue to cause us anxiety, and immediately we'll become dependent on Krishna and we become free from anxiety. When we are trying to seriously purify our consciousness, remember that remember that we are servant of Krishna and think and act in that consciousness will give us, by giving up mentality to become master, to proprietor, to enjoyer, then will not be anxious, will be peaceful, will have a peace of mind. This will purify our consciousness, and in that mood, we can become happy. And so this is what we had to share today of purification of heart. It's a relevant topic. Uh, But let me see if anybody has any questions from the today's session. Yes, sir, Sanjeev Prajit, you can ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for such a beautiful session today. And you gave some beautiful example of external appearance and internal consciousness. Prabhuji, my humble request is, to explain this in the sense from the point of view that, let's say, my internal consciousness is clear. I've worked on that. I've purified that. Then is there a need to change my external appearance? I mean, in the sense that in today's material world, the maximum frauds are happening by these so-called fake gurus, wearing saffron clothes and with this external appearances. That's where the maximum, problems are arising and the gullible people are being misled. So if one has worked on his internal consciousness, is there a need to change his external appearance? If you could kindly explain that, please. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prajit, for your wonderful, nice question. So, so basically, if we didn't discuss the second part of that equation, that if we can be detached and we can still act, and that is typically applicable to all of us in the Grihastha ashram. That we have to act, and at times. In the initial phase, we'll be acting with attachments. We are forced to. That's how we have been conditioned to. So we are attached and we are acting, and that's where most of us. As I said, this is where all of us probably will be. To by and large, to a large extent, will be there in that zone that we are attached to our families, and we are taking care of your families. We are acting to do whatever is necessary to take care of our families, their well-being, their home, their education, and so on, financial security, and so on and so forth. So that is one part of it. When we progress in Krishna consciousness, when we get convinced that of the reality that that all of these are actually souls, when we look at them from the point of view of soul, then we can continue to be in the Grihastha ashram and develop some detachment, some sense of detachment. So we can continue to act in the mood of detachment. We'll continue to act in the mood of detachment. And that itself is as good as being a sannyasi. There's no need for changing the dress. So this will come in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that then you are as good as a sannyasi. You don't need to change your dress to demonstrate this, to evidence this. If your ashram permits, you may accept saffron, and eventually you may accept sannyas. But if there's no need, for that to happen. This is not only indication of progressing spiritual consciousness. By progressing in spiritual consciousness, you, without changing dress, also you can attain perfect consciousness that of a sannyasi. And by wearing saffron also, you will at times continue to dwell on your mind. In your mind, secretly you will continue to think about the sense objects also. So both scenarios are possible. So if your time-place circumstance permit you to accept saffron and then move towards sannyasa, you may do so under the guidance of your close mentors. But there's no per se need to do that. It's not that you become better devotee only when you accept saffron. Mahaprabhu, we discussed his case. Mahaprabhu, why he accepted saffron? Because he had a mission and he had limited time, and he didn't wanted people to start committing offense at his lotus feet, and make their task more difficult to go back to Krishna. So he's Krishna himself, so he can change his narrative anyway. But for us, it's not necessary. If the time, place, circumstance permit, and if we are sincere, our mentors advise us to do so, or we may accept saffron and move towards sannyasas at later also. Even though today we might be in Grihastha ashram, eventually we can accept saffron, we can eventually move to sannyas also. But as I said, it is not essential.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So then, in ISKCON, why is the emphasis there on the external appearance in terms of, shaving the head and and the tilak, and if you can please explain to us
Yeah,
how.
correct. So we discussed that in our Vaishnav culture session, if you recall. Um, these when we dress like this, why devotees wear dhoti kurta? Because in the Golok Vrindavan description, Krishna Sakhas are wearing dhoti kurta. And so by seeing people wearing dress like this, we remember Golok Vrindavan. So a devotee, so we discussed the fashion if in that session, and can be in three modes: one in Tamogun, Rajogun, and Sattvagun, and how devotees' fashion is. Sense of fashion can be. So devotee will style themselves in such a way that can invoke remembrance of Krishna. So when you wear tilak like this, when you dress in dhoti kurta, when you have a shaven head or shikha, so these are the things which will give us instant remembrance of Krishna and his sakhas. So the same equally goes for Matajis. When they wear saris, when they cover their heads, they will be seen as gopis. They will give remembrance of gopis or Mother Yashoda. So that is how they like to dress. And in the temple environment, especially, or even outside, when we dress, you identify people instantly. You can identify them, and then the first thought that will come into your mind is, oh, they are from Hare Krishnas, or they are from ISKCON, or they are Krishna devotees. And that's the first thought that will come to your mind. Even if in a crowded metro train, if you see somebody wearing dhoti kurta, this is the first thought that will cross your mind. So they are giving you remembrance of Krishna. So therefore, devotees dress in that way. Uh, but it is not essential that saying that if you don't dress it, you are not allowed to enter the temple. As long as you are wearing something decent, of course, that's how they will be. You will be even allowed to practice Krishna consciousness with shirt, trouser. Also, that's not a that doesn't stop you from becoming a devotee. But as the devotee progress in his consciousness, he adapts. He himself accept in a wholehearted way the transformation. And he wears dhoti kurta. Again, it reduces your self consciousness so that you can again focus on Krishna. Makes you less self-conscious and makes you more Krishna conscious. Can then make you more Krishna conscious. So if by reducing our own consciousness, for that this becomes helpful. But again, it's not the only condition. There can be pretending that can happen in here also. Dhoti you may get dhoti kurta for 700, 800 rupees, and tilak practically for 10 rupees. So in 810 rupees, you can look like a devotee. But that consciousness also is critical. So both are important. But externals sometimes help you develop internal consciousness, and internal consciousness help your external appearance also. So it happens in both ways.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Yes, Gayatri, you have a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is like you told in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned that we need to take responsibility, and in the same way we need to be detached. But while doing a responsibility, like automatically attachment comes, whether it is like a husband, son, or anything, like any relationship. If you consider, like if we do the things with responsibility, automatically love or anything like affection will be increased. So in that case, like how we can do things without attachment and doing them in a detached manner, and at the same time fulfilling the responsibilities.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gayatri, for a wonderful question. So when we perform responsibilities, So the attachment comes from the mindset of doership. When we think ourselves to be the doer, then we get attached to that. The attachment comes from there. But if you perform actions, basically thinking that you whatever you have is been gifted by Krishna, and using those gifts, you're performing whatever you are doing. If the souls are sent in your custody by Krishna, your wife, your children, and you have been given up, you have been made a custodian of those souls. So it's your responsibility to give them Krishna consciousness as much as you can, to maintain them in their current for whatever the current period that they are in your possession. And so with that consciousness, when you look after your family, you should do your duties lovingly, but you should not forget that because of whom you are able to do what you are able to do. Our abilities comes from Krishna, our talent comes from Krishna. uh, we are not entitled to anything. we don't we don't deserve anything, but everything is given to us by the mercy by Krishna. When we have that remembrance, in that consciousness, when we act, even if we are acting to the best of our abilities, we are not attached to the outcome, because our outcome depends on the abilities, and our abilities depends on Krishna. So we continue to be dependent on Krishna for even fulfilling our day-to-day responsibilities in life, in Grihastha ashram, to take care of your family, to take care of your children, to take care of your home, support your relatives, support society. For everything, you are completely dependent on Krishna. When you have this remembrance that I'm the servant, and I have whatever I have is given by you. So let me try and do whatever best I can in discharging my duty. And so this daily remembrance of this comes from daily sadhana. And if you are in strong sadhana, strong early morning sadhana, then remembering this becomes easy. And then doing our duties, while we may do our duties in a very loving way, but we will always remember at the back of our mind that everything belongs to Krishna. I am only servant. Just like a cashier may do his work very diligently, he may not even make one mistake in counting lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees every day, but he will always remember that this cash belongs to my master. I am only a servant. I only get whatever a small portion, that is what I am supposed to get. So in that remembrance, with that remembrance, when he act, then he's not, he's fully responsible, but he's not attached. So that's how we can understand that it is possible to perform our actions lovingly without really getting attached to those actions. And as we progress in Bhagavad Gita in the chapter 4 and chapter 5, this piece will come. We can discuss this at that stage also. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Yes, Swapnil Prabhuji, last question again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are a couple of good questions in our chat box, particularly from Shipra Mataji. If you can take it up, Prabhuji. And I don't have a question as such, Prabhuji. It was only about
Understood.
saffron. So I just wanted to inform you about that.
Yeah, thanks, Prabhuji, for bringing to my notice. Let me just read. Regarding session, helping understanding. Should we protect our assets or let this be misused while practicing non-attachment? Should we allow ourselves to be vulnerable as our material achievements are not vulnerable? So material achievements, material assets, should you be protective of those, or should you we should not allow anything getting misused. In even if we become if even after becoming devotee, there's no question of anything getting should not get misused. So if your question is should you be careful in managing your money, the answer is yes. Should you be careful in just like should you be careful in taking care of your family members? The answer is yes. Becoming devotee is not a license to act irresponsibly. And the assets that you may possess today, tomorrow there could be whatever you have on. So all of that will be useful. Will be useful for to take care of any medical emergency, to take care of any education need for somebody in your family. So whatever assets that you possess today, should you be taking care of those responsibly? Obviously, the answer is yes. Should you have goals of for having huge assets? To the answer to that is also partially yes. You can have any goal, but you should remember whatever is sanctioned by Krishna will come. Otherwise, it will not come. So, to that extent, you can be aware that you may have any goal, but whatever will be sanctioned ultimately will come. And to that extent, you can be detached from your goal. You can have a goal, you can work towards it if you wish to, but whatever is sanctioned will come, whatever is not sanctioned will not come. So that consciousness when we have, then we don't get affected by, even if we become successful, it doesn't affect us. Even if we don't become fully successful, it's still we don't get affected. I see Shipra, already your hand raised. If you want to ask anything further.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Thank you so much for the session and for answering the query. So, it partly answers my question. I have, but I want to add on it. So, like if we are being asked to contribute to a thing either at office or at home which is kind of materialistic, it's not that I have any materialistic desires, but whatever I have, if I've been asked to contribute, which is kind of part of my duty also, but I know that at the end of the line, at the end of the day, it is not going to bring even acknowledgement. Should I still go ahead with this, or should I take a step back? So I don't know if I'm clear with it. It is not that I have materialistic desires, but if there is not even acknowledgement, then also should we go ahead with making a contribution to a work, or we should step back?
Yeah. So if that making that contribution, because see, the moment we have accepted a role, a job, or a business in the material world, we get the responsibility, duties come along with that. There will be benefit that will come along, and but some certain level of duties will also come along with that. For cashier, it could be counting cash. Should he count cash diligently every day? Yes. Even though he knows that nothing, he cannot take anything home, he should still do his work diligently. Sometimes less cash will be there, sometimes more cash will be there, and he will have to spend extra time to count that cash and arrange it properly and do his job diligently and then go home. So if the moment we accept certain material positions, we with those comes the responsibility. And as part of our maintenance, our maintaining ourselves, our families, support our families, we will be doing those. So there, the question of acknowledgement maybe should be a secondary question. We are we we're doing this because we are supposed to do it, and because this is my desire to do it. By my own choice, I am working for an organization where I'm expected to do certain work. I'm and I've been remunerated for doing that as well. And it's my responsibility to do that to the best of my ability. And sometimes I will be praised for it, sometimes I may not get praised for it, and so be it. If our sadhana is good, this will really not affect us. But it's not, we don't have to, but this is the problem. So at the organization level, the things are still okay. becomes complicated when we do things for our family members and then we don't get praise, because there we don't expect any remuneration for sure. But all we need is acknowledgement, all we need is praise. And there, if we don't get that also, that times things become a little complicated. In organizations, the things are like this, the setups are like this, they are all commercially minded. At times people don't care, people don't care for other people's contribution. And we see, if you've worked sufficiently in industry, you've probably seen this already enough. So beyond the point, it starts affecting you. Initial phase it may, but at a certain after a certain while, it will stop affecting you. And so if you, even if you don't feel, you will stop feeling elated when you are praised also. And you'll, at times you will get ignored also. And that will also, you'll just, it's just a matter of getting used to it. um and but that's more on the professional side. But when things become very complex, when you do things for your family members or friends and then you don't get acknowledged, question is, should you continue to do that? Yes, if it's part of your duty, you should continue doing that. No matter if it's, but if it is not part of your duty, there you can actually have a choice whether you want to go out of your way to do it when there is no acknowledgement, or you should not do it. Then you can take a conscious call at that time. um, Distinction or ability to treat these incidences properly in our mind. The processing of these incidences happens basis the sadhana. If we have good strong sadhana, these thoughts, when they come up in our heart, in our mind, you are able to deal with them properly. They may be unpleasant, that I never got acknowledged. It's not a pleasant thought. I did work hard so much, but I was missed out. My name was not called out during acknowledgements. And but our, if our sadhana is strong, we can console our mind very quickly. And it's okay. Maybe it was a genuine mistake. Maybe they don't. Maybe this is how, Krishna is saving me from getting puffed up, getting carried away. So many ways we can console our mind. And if we are strong, if we have strong sadhana, it then it the consoling mind can become very easy in this case as well as in any other case. But so that's how we can deal with this situation. But if you have a specific question, we can discuss separately, Mataji. And but this was more of a generic answer that I could think of. Okay. Swapnil Prabhuji, you have a question. So anything?
Prabhuji, no, I don't have a question. It was only about saffron external dresses. I think saffron is highly respectable marks about devotion and tyag. So, although we see example, but we should always set a good examples. And I have a deep respect of for this saffron color, not just the color, but the person and the soul behind the saffron color. So, I think we should all pursue and not think anything else other than the devotion and tyag by this saffron color, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yes, Guruji, yes, you're right. We should hope that person is also cultivating the consciousness that is required for wearing that saffron color. And prima facie, it should be respected. Just simply a person, a sannyasi, any sannyasi, should be respected and should be respected. Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about that. Yes, Subhash Prabhuji, you have a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In line with like Prabhuji was telling, see, this dress code is important, and it actually, when we are in the uniform, like you were telling, like soldiers and all, we get the reverence in that particular uniform. We give reverence to them. So in that way, but means inner values, like core values, character, that is much more important. If somebody is soldier, like you said, he or she has to behave in certain way once somebody is in the uniform in police or in the forces. But if they don't behave, I think then the person itself is discrediting that particular uniform. So uniform is basically important, whatever the color is there, but at the same time, the inner color, the real character lies, that is the inner color. That's much more important. That is one thing. And second thing, like go means two things, senses as well as like Gopal we say. Go means Go Mata also, na? Correct, no, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So I just wanted to say, because go means senses also, and go means Go Mata. And in my way, because one of my friend has written a book on Go Mata. All the diseases can be cured if somebody is serving Go Mata, and there are different ways given, like for BP and all that, no? Which particular thing one has to do. I think so. With sense control also can be done when we are serving or doing seva to Go Mata. That is this thing. And the third thing, with regard to the practical life and pragmatic thing, spiritual path should have the predominance that I am actually having. But at the same time, like I am also working for some organization, I am consulting for others. So then emotional well-being, mental well-being, that we take care. But material possessions and social obligations, I think holistic and balanced approach of both, of everything, but at the same time keeping the Lord in the keeping ourselves anchored in the Lord. That's important. That's what I believe, and I am doing that. So, is it the right path? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. It's a balanced approach is definitely there, and it should be tilted towards spiritual. And if we have, as I said, if you have strong sadhana, that will naturally get developed. We don't have to artificially bring it, but it should naturally get developed, and then it will not be. Then we'll actually experience it by our own self. So
One more request is there.
yes,
Today is my actually Krishna consciousness birthday of my son. So he has got the greetings and the cake and all everything
very
from
well.
our Vivandi, this ISKCON temple. So I request and beseech your blessings and blessings of everyone.
No, our prayers to Lord Radha Madhavji to bless your son with good health and devotional service, more importantly. And you can attend online puja also, Ruji, if you.
That we have that is done,
That
Prabhuji.
is done. Acha, acha.
Yes,
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, so again, we wish a very happy Krishna conscious birthday to your son, and all the devotees can also pray, pray to Lordship to bless his son with devotional service. Thank you so much for sharing. So we'll close today's session, and I'll pick up questions if there are any more on the chat box. But we can hopefully. So Gayatri, we can speak later because it's got very late. So I'll call. We can discuss it over the phone as well. So thank you everyone for joining. Jagannath Badeshwara Mai ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Prabhuji,
Krishna
Dandavat
Prabhuji, Dandavat
Pranam.
Pranam. Thank you, Krishna
Just get
Prabhuji,
into
Dandavat
Dandavat
Pranam.
Pranam.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.